my dear taste buddies. What a great and wonderful day. I hope you are doing fine right now. For today's lesson, I'll be discussing to you the different types of formulations, the calculation of salinity percentage by weight, and the 3 methods of salting. Are you guys excited? Well, it's going to be so much exciting. But before we proceed to our discussion, let's have a recap first. Last time, we discussed about how to perform estimation and basic calculation together with the abbreviations for measurement, isn't it? Great! Let me ask you some questions. Have you encountered or familiar with this? Or have you eaten any of these products? You know what? In making this product, it needs accurate formulations. With that, how can you differentiate formulations and formula? How is formula used in food manufacturing companies? And why is water considered a universal solvent? We would be able to answer this question as we continue to discuss our lesson today, reviewing various formulations. But before that, let me present to you our lesson objectives. And these are the following. You should be able to identify the different formulations for processing food. Second, discuss the salinity percentage by weight. Third, value accuracy in calculating the quality of the finished products. And lastly, you should be able to demonstrate quench salting. Formulations is the act of developing formula or a mixture of ingredients prepared in a certain way and used to produce products. To the most people, the word formula is often considered as a scientific term. However, recipes are called formula in food manufacturing companies. Each formula has been tested many times for accuracy and yield that produce accurate results. Then, why is standardization essential in food production? With that, let's talk about the checking of raw materials, ingredients, and percentage formulations according to approved specifications and enterprise requirements. Nowadays, it is essential to have standard in formula because food production is more scientific and competitive. A standardized recipe is developed to ensure the consistency in the product made and to provide a ready basis for cost analysis. As food production becomes more scientific and competitive, formula are put in writing and kept to standards. Standardization eliminates the chances of human error as much as possible. It assures the high-quality production of processed foods each day. Much of what people perceive as the food taste depends on the formation of solutions with solutes on foods such as sugar, salts, acids, and other flavor compounds. Combining a solvent and a solute results in either a solution or a suspension or an emulsion. And that's the reason why water is called as the universal solvent. First, in formulation, we have the sugar concentrate formulations. Sugar is an organic compound used in food preservation. Apples, pears, and berries are fruits that are mostly used in making jams, jellies, fruit juices, and other sweetened products. It acts as the binder to reduce the water that is available for the growth of microorganisms in food. Now, how does acidity and nature of fruit affects the concentration of syrup? And how can you measure the percentage of sugar in a syrup if hydrometer is not available? Acidity and nature of fruits affects the concentration of syrups. Heavier syrup is required for fruits that are low in soluble solids, and sour fruits required more sugar than sweeter ones. Hydrometer or a candy thermometer is an instrument used to measure the percentage of sugar in a syrup. In the absence of hydrometer, you can use this approximate sugar concentration table at home. The second formulation, we have salting and curing formulations. Salting and curing are used to preserve meat, fish, and some vegetables. Osmosis is applied to extend the shelf life of food by withdrawing out of water from food due to high salt concentration to partially dehydrate the tissues of meat, fish, or vegetables. The efficiency of salt as a preservative depends on its concentration. A saturated salt solution for about 26.5% prevents the growth of microorganisms. Salt is a preserving agent that is often combined with sugar, spices, saltpeter when applied to meat. However, a high salt concentration promotes the unattractive color within meat. Sugar is added to produce reddish or pinkish color to meat by providing energy to the nitrate-reducing bacteria. Adding sugar also lessens the hardness of the straight cured process, which makes the product appetizing. In calculating of salinity percentage by weight, this table will serve as the guide in finding salt level per cup of water. A cup of water is approximately 236 grams. It is recommended to use 1 cup of water to 5 grams of salt to make dill cucumber pickles. A salinity value of 2% is good enough for crisp cucumbers. There are 3 methods of salting: the brine salting, the dry salting, and the quench salting. Each method has a different salt-to-fish ratio used. In brine salting, the ratio is 1:4 by weight, where 1 part of salt is added to every 4 parts of fish. In dry salting, the ratio is 1:3, where 1 part of salt is added to every 3 parts of fish. The last method in salt, we have quench salting. In this method, the ratio is 1:7 by weight, where 1 part of salt is added to every 7 parts of fish. Quench salting is a method salting wherein salt is rubbed onto the surface of split fish, and fish are stuck with a sprinkle of salt between each layer of fish. If you want to do quench salting, follow these simple steps. First, put a salt in the bottom of the container and place a layer of fish side up on top of the salt. Second, add salt on every layer of fish, alternating layers of fish and salt, finishing with salt. Third, leave about an inch space between the rim of the container to allow room for weight that will set on top of the fish. Cover and keep in cold dry place for 3 to 4 days. And lastly, the fourth one, after 4 days, remove the weight, skim off oil, and cover, and keep in cold dry place. Salted fish can last for a year. The fish should be dipped in water for 10 minutes to reduce the salt and drain before cooking. On the other hand, curing will take 3 days to 1 week for medium-sized fish. For your post-activity, first, summarize the lesson using this question. How can you apply the different formulations used in food processing when starting a small business? Cite an example. Second, demonstrate the steps in quench salting. Then document the procedure using your mobile phone and submit your work using our account through vSmart platform, or for the student who are in distance learning with a learning kit, compile your 1-week output and submit it on the day I will ask you to submit. That's all for today. I hope you learned something. Once again, I'm Sir Jason Yuhan Cuadra, your T.L.E teacher. See you on our next lesson. Happy learning!